Hello and welcome to the online classes of computer science with Python. This is Renuka and today we are going to discuss about the protocols, network protocols like HTTP, FTP, TCP/IP, PP, POP with version 3, SMTP, internet protocols, various wireless communication protocols and wireless technologies. So before starting discussing about various type of protocols, we will first discuss what are protocols. So protocols are the set of rules and regulations applicable for a network. This is a basic definition that you might all have studied from since class 8th or 7th, that what protocols are. They are the set of rules which are applicable for a network. Now what these set of rules are, or what is the need of these set of rules? Let's take a real life example. Suppose two people are communicating. When they are communicating, they both started to speak at the same time, and after a few seconds they realized that they both are speaking at the same time and it is not understandable, so they both stopped talking or speaking at the same moment. Again, after few seconds they started talking at the same time, so this created a chaos and nothing was understandable. So to avoid those two people followed a set of rules that if one is speaking, then another will hear, and if another is second person is speaking, then first will keep quiet and listen to what the second person is speaking. So these type of set of rules are known as protocols. So if we are communicating, communication can be of any type of communication. In that case, set of rules are required. Now protocols in case of networking, why they are needed? Because networking is also a type of communication where we communicate or where we transmit our data from one node to another node, as we have discussed in our previous videos that what networking is. So that's why in this type of communication protocols are required. So not only they are the set of rules which are required for communication over a network, but they define a standardized format. Why standardized format for transmission of data is required? Because a network comprises of many nodes throughout the world. It is not that 1 or 2 or 5 or 20 computers in your lab or in a building. It is worldwide web. So in that case, there are lot of computers, lot of infrastructure, lot of softwares, lot of platforms are there. So there should be one standardized format so that data transmitted from one type of node, one type of platform, it can be easily understandable on another type of platform. So protocols define set of rules, defines standardized format, also defines the techniques for detecting errors and to remove those errors or to correct those errors. So these are the 4 tasks of protocols: to decide the set of rules, to define the standardized format, to define the techniques for detecting errors, and methods to remove those errors. Now the very first protocol which we are going to discuss about, that is HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This is a protocol which is helpful for viewing the information of a web page over internet. As you all have seen that whenever we want to search any web page or website, if we type the URL also, so automatically HTTP is added at the beginning of that domain name. So that is hypertext transfer protocol, means that is always needed if we want to open a web page on any browser. So HTTP consists of a set of requests from the browser, or browser is the client here, of a local computer to the web server, and the web server respond according to the request. So whenever you open a web page or send a request to server for any web page, so that means which protocol you are following, HTTP. Then comes file transfer protocol. As the name suggests, if we want to transfer file from one system to another, then we use FTP, or we can say network use which protocol, FTP. So any type of file sharing needs FTP protocol. Then comes TCP/IP protocol, transmission control and internet protocol. They are not or, that is not a choice, either transmission control protocol or internet protocol. These two protocol work collaboratively with each other, so that's why transmission control protocol and internet protocol. So what is internet protocol? One thing, like when we transmit data on a network from one node to another node, that data is transmitted in the form of packets. Whatever information or data is transmitted over a network, that is transmitted in the form of a packets. So the task of internet protocol is how packets of information are sent out over network, means their addressing method, with at what destination the packet will be delivered. So what is the recipient address, it will be attached to that packet, and the packets will be delivered to the proper destination. That is the lookout of internet protocol. Then comes the transmission control protocol. As the data or the information is transmitted in the form of packets, so TCP task is to check whether the packets are delivered error freely and in a proper order from source to destination. If source is transmitting the packets in the order 1, 3, 5, then at the end, destination end, those packets will be assembled in the same order 1, 3, 5 without any error. So that is the task of transmission control protocol. So TCP and IP work collaboratively to transmit information from one node to another over a network. Then comes point-to-point protocol. When two nodes are connected point to point, in that case point-to-point protocols are used mainly as in telephone lines or broadband connections, where client is calling to the server and there is a connection, point-to-point connection between client and server. In that case, data is transmitted with the help of point-to-point protocols. Next is IMAP, Internet Mail Protocols. So this type of protocol is used for receiving emails on a remote web server from a local client. So for receiving email, we use IMAP protocol. Further, we will study that for sending there is a separate email. So on internet, if you want to receive mail, then there is IMAP, and for sending there is SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. That is a set of communication guidelines that allow the software to transmit an electronic mail over the internet. If you want to transmit, in that case SMTP. If the node want to receive the mail, in that case IMAP. So both these protocols work for email. Then comes Post Office Protocol version 3. This is a standard mail protocol used to receive emails from a remote server to a local email client, as is the work of IMAP. But the difference is that here the mails are once they are downloaded on the local computer, then after disconnecting or during offline also those mail can be read. So that is the task of POP version 3. Then next is Telnet. Telnet is a network protocol used to virtually access a computer and to provide a two-way collaborative and text-based communication channel between two machines. If your one machine is far away, then you can log into that far away or remote computer with the help of Telnet protocol. We have earlier discussed also about this technique, that how Telnet works in our previous videos of networking, that you can log in to your system which is at remote area. Suppose you are in one city and your office system is in another city, then with the help of Telnet protocol you can log into your system in another city and you can access the files. So that is Telnet protocol. So these are about the protocols of networking. Then comes wireless or mobile communication. Wireless or mobile communication, as the name suggests, that here we are using waves, not wires for transmitting data. So data is transferred and being shared in the form of electromagnetic waves such as GSM, CDMA, WLL, 3G, 4G. So all these names you might have heard. So first is CDMA, code division multiple access. It is a technology that forms the basis of 3G mobile phones. In CDMA there is no removable SIM. Earlier, if you have seen 10 to 12 years back mobile phones, so they were having no SIM. Whole data or information or account was stored in internal memory of the handset, and so that's why device or number meant for one type of phone cannot be used in another phone. So they are CDMA. Then comes GSM, Global System for Mobile Communication. The mobiles which are having SIM, full form of SIM is Subscriber Identity Module. So these type of SIM card are having in the handsets, and that technique is GSM, Global System for Mobile Communication. That's why it is name given as global, because SIM can be transferred to any other handset. So globally you can transfer your SIM from one place to another, you can transfer from one system to another. So that is GSM. Then comes GPRS, stands for General Packet Radio Service. It is a packet based wireless communication technology that charges user based on the volume of data they send rather than the time duration. In most of the data transmission, GSM, SDMA charges are according to the time limit, for 1 month, for 20 days, for 10 days, how much time you are using for data transmit. But in GPRS, charges are on the basis of volume of data. The amount of data you are transmitting over the network, according to that the traffic will be decided, and according to that only charges will be decided. So that is GPRS. So it is the mobile communication protocol used by 2G and 3G mobile telephony. Then comes next is WLL. WLL stands for wireless in local loop. The very best example is the in homes, the local telephone service or offices that is provided by the local exchange. Whenever you make a call, the call will be connected to the local server, not to the central server. So that is WLL, wireless in local loop. So in this type of system, handset and a base station are there. The base station is connected to the central exchange as well as the antenna. The antenna transmit and receives call from the user and through the terrestrial microwave links. So each base station can support multiple handsets. So you might have seen, like suppose in hotels or in boardings, there are WLL technology is used, that main central system is at one place and various handsets are there in separate hostel rooms. From there they can communicate with the base station. So that is example of wireless in local loop. Then comes VoIP, Voice Internet Protocol. This is a technology that converts your voice into a digital signal, and digital signal can be transmitted over computer. So all the voice communication which we do with the help of internet, whether be video call or IP telephony, so that is those communication are using voice internet protocols. So these are various communication protocols. Then comes some wireless technologies. Wi-Fi and WiMAX are the wireless technology. Both are wireless network connections, but the difference is very small. Wi-Fi is used to create small networks and used to connect printers, computers, gaming consoles, whereas WiMAX is a wide spectrum and wide network, and it is used to provide internet service such as mobile data and hotspots. And you might have seen hotspots, a connection area of a network, or suppose a area their various networks are connected, so that is hotspot. So various differences between Wi-Fi and WiMAX. First is their definition. Full forms: wireless fidelity is Wi-Fi and WiMAX is wireless interoperability for microwave access. Usage: Wi-Fi use radio waves, whereas WiMAX use spectrum. That's why it is having large interoperable network. Wi-Fi is defined under IEEE 802.11x standard, and for WiMAX the standard is 802.16y. Then usage: Wi-Fi is used in LANs because its range is less as compared to WiMAX. WiMAX is used in MANs. Then quality of surface: Wi-Fi is not that much good as compared to WiMAX. Network range: Wi-Fi up to 100 meters, whereas WiMAX up to 900 kilometers. Wi-Fi transmission speed is 54 Mbps and here WiMAX is 70 Mbps. So if you want to connect wirelessly in your lab or in your building, then you prefer Wi-Fi, otherwise WiMAX for large areas. So they are the wireless technologies. Thank you.